also want to pass on a little bit of information for you guys that I learned from another video. If you use some Pam or Crisco, some kind of cooking spray in your mold, just spray it, and then if you're having a hard time with your sticking and not coming out well, I learned this and I figure it's the best thing to pass on to you guys. It's just so awesome. So you spray it down with some Pam or Crisco or whatever. I have Crisco, and the person I saw, she used Pam, but either way it works fine. Just spray it down and color your clay or do whatever you want to do, and then press it into the buttons. The buttons in particular are the ones that I'm having the hardest time with. I'm not having so much of a difficult time with the blossoms. These are working perfectly fine for me. But the buttons, I was just having a heck of a time. You should see some of, I think I showed you some of the my earlier lesser considered works of art. So you spray it down and you put the Pam in it or the Crisco, and now don't pop, you can pop it, and bending it like this, the only thing is that it does sort of distort the clay. So what she recommended is that you take it then, after you've gotten it in there, and you press it down on a paper towel, and it'll pull it out on the paper towel. Now I did have an incident yesterday where that didn't happen for me for these two buttons, but it happened perfectly fine today. I didn't have a problem with it. It came right off, and I think the best thing is to make sure that when you do it, have some overlapping. That way it gives the paper towel something to grab onto, because yesterday I used exactly every bit of clay. I didn't have any waste from it making these hearts and the buttons for this project, so I didn't have anything hanging over. So make sure you leave something hanging over for the paper towel to grab onto, and make it kind of thick around the edge. I mean, press it in really well and get it nice and flat into the button, but leave some overlap and make it a little bit thicker so that the paper towel will pull it off, and then you can remove it right away from the paper towel, because otherwise it might get stuck to the paper towel. Then you've got to wait until the button dries and then pry it off, which I did. It didn't hurt it any, but I used my paper piercing tool in order to do that, and I got some paper towel fiber on the back. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but I like the way I did it today better than the way I did it yesterday. But that's just a tip for you guys. It's very quick, very easy, and very helpful. Also, if you guys are having a hard time getting the holes in your buttons, there are two ways to combat that. One, just keep kind of working it in the center of the mold. So you would just say I put some mold in there, or put some clay in there. I would just, right where these buttons are, I would just keep kind of working it with my thumb and maybe sometimes with my finger. Or if you can't get it, and you're just having a heck of a time doing that, leave it like that, pull it out, and then when it dries, you'll take the small end of your stylus from your Simply Scored and just poke through those holes, and it's perfect. It works out perfectly well.